Welcome, folks, to the 2021 Sunstein Open at Mountainside event. We got a good one here for you. Beside me, I got Noah Cronin.
What's up, guys?
Thanks for coming along here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Of course. We got a great tournament here. Want a big shout out to Mountainside at Flint Park, also at Munson, Massachusetts.
This course is just absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite courses in Central Mass, and just look at this first area where the first tee pad is and where the practice baskets are. It's just such a beautiful area, such a well-maintained park.
Definitely gives you an idea how awesome this course is going to be. It's very difficult. It's no walk in the park. And big shout out to our helpers, the greatest media team ever. Noah Cronin, we have Dan Snyder doing some drone footage, Quentin Scott doing some catch cam, and then we also have a big lineup of players, including...
We got Marky Chap here, rated at 993, came in with a hot round of a -9 on the coral layout in round one.
Pretty good there. Shane Wyatt with a -8, shooting a 10.06 round, looking like a pretty clean round two.
We have local stud Kyle Moriarty, 1012 rated, definitely can't sleep on him. He can really go on a tear here on this gold layout.
Some might know him as Wads. Finishing the batch here, we got Brian Schweinhart, a newcomer, and it's going to be interesting to see what he's throwing off the tee because I've never seen him play.
Yeah, I've actually never seen Brian play as well, and he's 955 rated, so he's a little bit of an underdog here, but he showed up. He shot -8 that first round, probably one of his, I don't know, maybe a handful of 1,000 rated rounds for him, but it's good to see him here on the lead card. Let's see how he can compete with everyone.
And you might have saw there the Sunstein check-in. We're going to be definitely checking in on our chase cards. And of course, big shout out and thank you to Sunstein as well as our sponsors such as Disc Golf 978 and everybody else involved in this tournament. We really appreciate your help.
Yeah, there's been a huge push from local businesses and local media teams, so it's great to see everyone come together for an event like this.
This was the third and final Sunstein event that we hosted.
And so what does it mean to be a Sunstein event? That means that you get double the points for the end of the year Grand Prix, correct?
Yeah, so it's a 2.5 multiplier for PDGA points, and it usually people playing in these events have a good chance of getting into the Sunstein finale. And the winner automatically gets in there as well. So.
Yeah. So you had Marky leading us off there, throwing a nice hyzer shot, and we are playing the gold layout in this video. So gold layout plays as a par 4 here. You really just want to have a nice straight hyzer shot. You don't want it to finish too far to the left or else it's going to pinch you off just a little bit. So Shane threw a great shot right there, checked up, and got an actually pretty good forward skip. Might be a little bit pinched behind that tree, but definitely in a solid position for his upshot.
Yeah, you definitely just want to rip one here and try to get as far as you can, and then get in a good position to the left, leaving yourself about a 150-foot upshot.
That was a great shot by Wads. You could see he left it a little bit higher, and that allowed it to get a little bit more far into that gap.
Excellent shot by Wads there. Brian's going with his Neo Instinct here.
Oh, and it looks like he catches an unfortunate root. I'm sure that would have got a great flare skip. Checked him up kind of near the coral basket with an easy upshot, but now he's laying furthest away, throwing what looks like a backhand shot up and over, and he just checks into the island. This hole plays as an island green, and it's kind of a long, like rectangular shaped island, and he kind of checked up against that back hill and slid back into the inbounds area. As you can see Marky do there, if he just sits down, that is a very common play. You're more likely to overthrow it and check back down the hill than underthrow it and skip over the walking path. So pretty smart plays there by both of those guys in their upshots.
Yeah, believe it or not, hole one saw a lot of out of bounds just right by these logs here. So like Noah was saying, you really just want to check one up and try to get a bounce back if you can.
Yeah, Shane did the same exact thing, hit the back wall, fell down into the inbounds.
Ooh.
And exactly what we're talking about. If you kind of leave it a little bit short, you're going to hit those stakes, you're going to hit that walking path. It's really not going to want to skip into the inbound section. So Wads left it just a little bit short.
For most of the MPO players, it's going to be a routine birdie, but obviously it's a little tricky with that upshot. So that was a nice birdie by Brian to start things off, and looks like we're going to finish with Marky and Shane also getting a birdie. So good start for these gentlemen.
It's definitely a good birdie to start with. You know, it's maybe a relatively soft par 4 in terms of distance, but having the uphill at the end and that island green really does make it tricky to get yourself up there for a 3.
Yeah, it ended up being the 3rd easiest hole, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Surprising, but... Moving on to hole 2, we have a 326-foot downhill shot. No OB, but you really just have to get sneaky, either going through a flip-up or through the lines here, like you see Marky throwing.
This is really an epic shot. It's so downhill, and there's really just one line for you to hit. It's that backhand turnover line that you see these guys throwing here. And Shane left that just a little bit early out of his hand, and really that's one of the hardest, you know, mistakes to swallow on this hole, because he's still got a good 300 feet with a lot of trees in the way to get himself down for a par.
Yeah, Brian's going with the flip up Neo Origin. Great shot there. And
I think the Origin is a great disc selection for this hole, because you really do want it to kind of just softly turn and kind of glide all the way down the hill.
Yep. Wad's going with his Champ T-Bird 3 here.
JK?
And it looks like he just got held up kind of in the middle of the flight path there. Shane looks like he has a really tough spot. Tried to get aggressive, probably still give himself a look for par, but now he's shooting 3, so he's at par now with, you know, a lot of work to do between him and the basket still.
He's probably still thinking about his skins match that he played too. If you want to check that out, you can check that on my channel. It was a really fun match, and somebody walked away with a lot of money.
Wow, Marky drawing medal from, you know, Circle's Edge with a little bit of a flick putt there.
Oh, Watt's getting a little bit of more roll than he wanted there. This is a really tough green, one of the toughest greens on the course, I would say.
I would agree. The basket's hanging, but it's also kind of up on a mound, so even if it was in the ground, it'd still be an elevated basket. So this green is very treacherous no matter which side you're on.
Oh, come on, Watt.
Oh, man. Wads with kind of a Circle's Edge uphill putt. Just caught a little bit of the pro side and almost hung on, but just barely fell out.
Roll. How did he get all the way down there?
I was thinking the same thing.
And Shane's going to start off with the double bogey on hole 2 here. Not how you want to start this hole, but it happens. I mean, he got caught up early.
He did.
And this is actually the 3rd hardest hole.
I could definitely... Oh!
Wait.
What a brutal spit out.
That's an appropriate response, Mark.
Oh my gosh. That was about a 5-foot tap in, and he hit it dead center. He didn't even really throw it too hard. That was just...
undeserved.
You know, a very, undeserved spit out. That was terrible to see.
2 strange bogeys, actually, on
seriously.
that hole. Why don't we just shake that off and go to the next hole here?
Right, on to hole 3.
Brian's going to throw his FD3 here. This is a nice little hyzer shot. It's a little sneaky. The gap is sneaky.
I was going to say it's a little bit of a quirky hole in my opinion. You know, it's a little short, and you got to throw something high and overstable and kind of hope that you just sneak through the gap and get a flare skip up there.
And this is what happens a lot of times, where you think you have a good shot and just sort of rolls against the hillside.
Yeah, kind of like that anti-skip. It really doesn't want to skip up the hill. It wants to skip straight.
Wad's throwing a good shot. Why does that work? Getting up there.
A little more inside than the other guys.
Yeah, I think Shane was complaining about it. And this hole averaged 2.95, so you could tell it's not the easiest hole,
but it's right around par.
Not the hardest. Shane going for his banger. Ooh.
But I would say it kind of is a tough hole to take a 4 on. You know, it's a tough 2, but it's a hard 4 at the same time.
Absolutely.
So the 3 is very common on this hole.
Yeah. So no one's really inside the circle here.
No, nobody's really making any major moves on this one, it looks like. Oh, Brian, he almost actually sank that. Made me eat my words a little bit.
He's putting with his K3 Rico there.
Here's Wads from about 40, 45, it looks like.
Nice
Wads. Putt. That is a great birdie to take.
That is a really good one.
None of them were even in the circle. That is a good stroke to take there.
Nope, and especially after that strange bogey that he got.
Yeah, that's good to wipe that away. Yeah.
And that was his AVR, so that was a really nice putt, Wads.
All right, heading into hole 4. Hole 4 is actually one of my favorite holes on the course. It's uphill, it's got a tight tee shot, and it can really make or break someone if you are to hit early. So, what a good putt by Wads there.
Yeah, that instant replay was everything.
Yeah. It's great to hit those types of putts early in the round because it kind of gets your stroke going. It gets you in the routine a little bit. Next time he steps up to a big putt, he'll be feeling confident over it.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of letting the first putt, big putt, go for it.
Yeah.
See what happens. 422 feet. That doesn't seem right because it feels like you're
It
throwing
feels like
550.
500, yeah, 522 feet.
And Wad's throwing a really good shot up there. If you want to see one of the best drives I've ever seen, definitely check out the Skins match. He threw a pump up there.
And really, you're just looking for a clean drive here. You don't need all the distance in the world. You just need to split that gap right there in the middle and continue to drift right a little bit. And Brian did hit the gap, but he kind of caught some high cheddar, and it kind of knocked him down to the left. Probably in a pretty tough spot to attack for birdie, but it shouldn't be too hard to get his par from there.
Left isn't that bad. Markey thrown. Oh, I thought he was going to get up there.
Me too. Came out of his hand good, but maybe turned it over a little bit more than he wanted it to.
Yeah, Shane's going to be throwing a sidewinder here. He's been really liking this disc.
And it sounded like he kind of caught a tree as well.
Yep. Not an easy hole to
No,
get through. That,
it is not.
That line is not easy.
And it's more uphill than the video actually makes it out to be. This hole, you're pretty much throwing directly uphill the whole way. They call this course Mountainside for a reason, and this is one of the first holes that really proves it to you.
Yeah, what a excellent shot by Mark.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot.
Brian's lining up his FD3 here, Color Glow.
Playing a nice hyzer, and just catches the Guardian tree kind of right at the start of that second gap.
He was kind of in a tough spot.
Yeah.
And Shane's going to be throwing a turnover here. I believe it's a sidewinder again. That's a good shot by Shane.
Yeah,
there.
that looks like a good up.
Again, you can't tell how uphill this
No,
is.
you
Maybe
can't.
from this a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it is tough.
Wad's going with his Firebird.
Oh, and just catches the bottom of the tree. One of those, like, bottom tree rollaways that are just so undeserved. Oh, Brian almost ringing that up from probably about 80 to 100 feet.
Does he have an ultimate background?
I think he does.
It kind of looks like
you can
it.
tell with
Yeah.
that forehand, yeah.
Come on, let's see if he can make back-to-back.
Oh.
Didn't want to juice it too much. I get
Yeah.
it, especially going uphill. You can get a crazy roll downhill.
I know, those uphill putts, if you catch any basket that doesn't go in, it just wants to roll backwards.
No.
Yeah.
I was watching one of the worst, what was it, top 5 putts that DGPT put out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and Sarah Hokum had one of the worst rolls I've ever seen going down that hill.
Yeah.
That's all I can envision with these
When
types
you're doing
of putts.
uphill putts, yeah. Shane with kind of an am side spit out there that was a little bit high. You know, sometimes those putts kind of hit and stick, but that one didn't really want to stick too well.
And this was in the middle of the road. This average actually 4.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
Wow,
So,
average right on the dot.
Yeah, so it's a good hole. Not a lot of birdies, but, you know, some here
Also
and there.
pretty manageable to get your 4 if you're off on 1 or 2 of the shots, you know?
Yep. I believe I took a 5. And look at that, the Matrix. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't.
Little blip there. Awesome instant replay by Markey there. That was a hell of a shot.
Yeah, that was a great second shot. And you can see the basket is kind of surrounded by mulch, so you can give it a good run up there, and it shouldn't, you know, it should kind of check up if you're to hit it nice and flat.
And let's check out the chase card. Dylan and Ryan Begley making a push after the first 4 holes here. Looking strong with a -9.
Yeah, he's definitely making a push. He's tied for 5th, and they're only 4 holes in, him and Begley both.
And you can see that they're only a few behind Markey, the leader right now, too.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight race down the stretch.
So Markey's throwing his EMAC Judge here. Almost gets it.
And hole 5 is actually playing as, I think, the easiest hole on the course today. It is 265 feet, dead straight. Really, you just got to pick your poison. You go on left side turnover, or are you going right side on a little bit of a hyzer flip? I'm sure a lot of these guys are going to be going right side, but Kyle just threw a nice turnover shot there.
Yeah, with his DX AVR, almost pinned it. And now we got Brian throwing his K3 Rico. Nice smooth touch there. Really like that form.
Yeah, that is a textbook shot right there. A little flip up shot up the right side, let it glide, and kind of just check up into the mulch.
And then Shane's most likely going with his rock.
Yeah, I would think so.
And that's a nice shot.
Yeah, that is just a beautiful shot.
Ooh, put himself behind a tree, though.
I know, that's just a little bit of an unfortunate squirrely on him.
How cool does that wooden wall look though in the back.
Yeah, having the wall is good because it kind of gives you some reassurance that you can give it some juice and it's not really going to go too far. I think that wall is probably about 30 feet behind the basket.
It's just a nice aesthetic look to it too.
Yeah. That's a nice putt by Markey.
Very nice putt.
Good birdie to take there.
Yeah, for being the easiest hole, I would expect at least 3 birdies.
Yeah, from our feature card, we should be seeing at least 2 to 3 birdies from here, if not a star frame. It's a good birdie by Brian.
Shane's got this little tester with the straddle.
He does. I think he should just be just fine.
Oh, give him a little double take
Yeah,
here.
he's kind of faking himself out a little bit.
All right, I didn't mean to jinx him. I honestly thought he was going to make that. I'm sorry, folks, but...
And knowing
usually
Shane,
making
you know
that.
he wants
Yeah.
that one back.
Yeah.
Shane's one of the best putters we know, and it just seems like he's just slightly off by just a few inches in the start of this round.
Just watch the skids match. Yeah, it's okay, Shane. It happens to all of us. Hole 6, big hyzer bomb. Very quirky in terms of trying to get a direct line. You just really have to pump one up there.
Yeah. And Markey kind of sawed his off probably a little bit earlier than he wanted. You do kind of want to push it straighter and then have it stall at the end rather than throwing it on like a really forced hyzer. But this is one of the more tricky par 4s out here just because there's so many trees in the way.
Yeah, this average 4.13, so right around there.
So slightly over par,
Yep.
you know. It can be a tricky hole.
Absolutely. And Wads puts a smash on
Yeah,
it.
that was a great shot. And you can see the basket all the way up there, but there's just so many trees in the way. It's such a tight little line to hit the whole way. If you can get yourself a putt for birdie inside the circle on this hole, you've done yourself something right.
I mean, that deserved an instant replay.
It
That was
did,
so
yeah.
good.
That was a great drive.
Nice Halo Destroyer smash. And we got Shane taking his Destroyer. Also getting up there. Very
Yeah,
nice.
that looks like a nice clean drive. Pretty much exactly what you'd want on this hole.
Taking his mantra. Brian's going to try to get a little sneaky here.
Let's see if he can kind of sneak himself all the way up
See,
there
if you
for
leave
a
yourself
putt.
short, this is so hard to get up there.
It is. There's just
so hard.
so many trees in the way. You really have to land yourself in the prime landing zone to still see a fairway to the basket.
Markey. Oh, I thought
Putting
he sucked
everything
through
he
that,
wanted
yeah.
into that. Just got super unlucky on that tree hit.
Shane taking his Firebird.
Great shot.
Yes. Nice
And
shot,
yeah, that was a
Shane.
great shot. And you could hear him. He was even thanking the disc golf gods there.
He's gotten so good with that forehand
I know.
touch shot.
His forehand has come a long way over the past couple of years.
2 years ago, that he didn't have that in his bag.
Nice shot.
And now Markey's also getting good at forehands, I see, too.
Right.
Some would say he's the best in Mass.
I don't know if I'd go that far, right, man?
And taking his harp.
And just look at that. Wads put himself in the position where he has a straight upshot at the basket with nearly no trees in the way. So his drive was really a spectacular drive.
That was picture perfect.
Yeah.
Really was. Brian with a nice touch backhand. That is not an easy shot.
No.
Wow. He
Patent
made that
pending.
look really easy.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Get
He
himself
loves
up
that
there.
K3 Rico.
He does.
Markey.
Worried a little bit about that spit out he saw a couple holes
he
ago.
doesn't want to repeat hole 2, that's for sure.
But still a good confident putt.
No, that
Yeah,
was good.
good
That
stroke.
was good. That was a good save,
Yeah.
too, for him.
Yeah,
Because that
good
could
force save.
that could have gone the other way.
And that is a great birdie for Kyle to pick up.
Awesome. And he's making some strokes here, which is good. He needs those strokes.
Yeah.
Shane also tapping in for his 3, I believe, right? Because he had that Firebird.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So nice birdie for
Yeah, that's
Shane.
a good birdie for Shane.
Brian cleaning it up. Moving on to hole 7.
Hit hard.
Hole 7 is actually one of the hardest holes on the course.
I would
learned.
agree. Yeah, this hole is really tricky.
And I think it's way more than 268. I'll have to double check that, but
Yes.
And this is my line too, actually. Just throwing a nice hard power forehand. Get yourself to hit the gap, because when I turn my back to a tight gap like this, some bad things can happen. So if you have a forehand, you probably really are opting to throw your forehand on this hole.
yeah.
Thank you.
And Shane
you
getting
so much.
caught up. Oh, and gets the best kick ever.
Oh man,
Did you see that?
that was crazy.
I should have done an instant replay for
Yeah,
that.
that
was
was
insane.
that was very very
I actually
fortunate.
can go 8,000
Oh, and then Marky gets the opposite love.
And that's how disc golf goes sometimes, you know? Sometimes you'll hit a tree and you'll get a good kick, and sometimes you'll hit a tree and just get absolutely screwed.
Brian, I thought you got through there. He's liking his S-Line DD3 for those shots.
But I think this hole is playing as actually the hardest hole on the course today. So seeing these guys struggle is no different than kind of how every other card's dealing with this
Oh,
hole.
Marky, what's going
That is
on?
just a
wanna be.
tragedy to see.
You must be really pinched off.
I hit a tree that's an inch wide.
All right, Mark.
Dead.
Joke. Up and
Joking,
down.
joking about having a better angle. Let's see if that's actually true.
I think it's true. And finally gets out. All right.
Nice. He still caught something late
Yeah,
though
this
there,
is a
but
tough hole,
this is
guys.
a really
I can't
hard
even
one.
explain to you how it feels good just to get a 3. I mean, like Noah was saying, it was playing the hardest. It should probably be a par 4 just because of this distance.
Yeah, the 268 is definitely a little bit incorrect on this
Yeah,
hole because
no.
it probably plays closer to 400, but with all the trees and the elevation on this hole, like you said, getting a 3 is still a 2-shot hole. There's nobody getting themselves in range for a putt off the drive on this one, unless you throw some sort of miracle backhand roller, but I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's really throwing anything like that. Like, this is Kyle, and he had a beautiful forehand drive, and look, he's still actually throwing the disc. He's not putting. So, to get yourself into putt range on this hole is just near impossible, honestly.
One of my least favorite holes, probably, but I mean, it's just tough. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah, it is. It's really tough.
Especially when you don't have a flick off the tee. Like,
Yeah.
it's so hard to get up
Hit
there.
that backhand shot nice and straight and
Yeah.
finish to the right.
So you can
That was
see
a good bid by
it
Brian,
was.
but there was a lot in the way still. He had a leaning tree in the front. He had a tree on the right side of the basket as well.
See if Shane can save his 3 or birdie. Is that no for 3?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a good, which kind of should be a birdie, you know?
Yeah.
Like a 3 on this hole feels really good.
That was a
so-
long putt.
Yeah,
too.
that was a circle's edge putt, so he earned that 3 for sure. And I'm not sure triple, but I was going to say I thought that was for a 5, but it was actually for a 6, so
That's a tough one,
for
especially
Marky to
since he had the
swallow.
lead. So
I
that's
know.
gonna really
And that's going to
cost him some
drop him down to
strokes.
8, and that's
Oh,
going to,
man.
you know, put almost everybody in the mix. Brian is all of a sudden in the lead on the lead card.
wow. That was a big swing
Yeah.
for
Huge swing for the feature card
wow, insane.
there. Yeah.
Hole 8, 410 feet. One of my favorite holes. Again, feels like 550 feet, not 410
Yeah,
feet.
this hole's
but
really tough.
You're gonna see Wads here probably put a good smash on it, or should I say
Why is
smush?
that there?
And taking
Oh,
that
yeah.
inside line on a forehand is really hard. I usually take the outside forehand line, kind of going to the left on a safe hyzer, because that inside line, when you're actually standing on the tee in person, is just really tight.
Yeah. Shane going with his sidewinder. Great shot
And
there.
that backhand turnover shot is actually how you get up this fairway farther, because the way that it kind of pans out as it's fighting up the hill will give you a little bit of extra distance.
Brian going with his forehand as well. DD3.
Oh, and I was mistaken. I guess Brian lost a stroke on that last hole, so it put him in a tie with Kyle on the feature card, not in a
okay.
lead.
I might
Still
not
worked out.
have
That got
it.
screwed.
I might have missed it.
And Wads in a pretty good spot, even after a good drive. It's a little tricky though.
Go.
Get through.
Yeah,
like he
and it looks
did,
like he got
yeah.
a skip. He's probably a little bit right side of the basket there, but he's definitely putting, which is great.
I've seen Wads do some amazing stuff on this hole.
You gotta putt.
That's a good shot by Brian.
Yeah,
too.
that was great.
That was a soft tactic.
Yeah, I was going to say, that looked like it was a little bit slower of a disc than what Kyle threw. Oh, and Marky just,
Marky needs to put a
finding
little more
another
angle on
tree.
that. That was going to be good.
you can
though.
hear him giving like a pretty hard exhale there, like
Yeah.
you know, super dissatisfied with how that hit the tree and
Well, he
bounced.
was in first place, and now
I
you
know,
he's
I know.
with the
tough.
rest of the group here.
These are the moments where you're on feature card, you really gotta. Oh! And he drew metal.
Nice, Shane. That was
But
beautiful.
when you're on feature card and stuff like this happens, you just have to do what he did. Take a deep breath and kind of slow it down. Try not to get too much in your head about it.
little
If
nature
I would've committed
appreciation
when you
moment.
said it, that
Thank
would've
you for
been
that,
it.
Quentin.
Hilarious.
I don't know why you were like being
Shane
stubborn.
giving us
Shane,
a little
yeah,
banter.
always
I know,
cracking jokes.
I know. I'm catting for you.
I think he's saying Well,
And these two going back and
Yeah.
forth. These two are great friends, great competitors with each
I
other.
think Wads helped him out, basically.
He was trying
to. I think he told him to go forehand, though.
And Marky just cannot catch a break in these last
No,
couple
last
holes.
few holes have been a little tough for him.
Can he sink this for a long putt? Oh, just leaves
All
it
right,
a little
Marky,
right.
you got to push. Come on, buddy.
It's all right. There's still plenty of golf left. These are the moments where you just kind of dial it back in and get your focus again.
Ooh,
and a
what
nice
a banger.
Great putt by Brian there.
K3 Rico.
Outside
for
the circle,
birdie.
for birdie. He was already in a tie on this lead card.
All right,
So,
Brian, we see you.
Yeah, Brian's making some moves here.
We see you. That was a good putt.
Yeah, it was.
All right, Marky. Please make this. Okay,
Oh,
good.
and even that one, like, almost wanted to slip out that
Yeah.
left side there, but caught it for him, and that's a good bogey to kind of save there.
Yeah, and this whole average 3.91, just to give folks an idea of how it played.
Yeah.
A little below par, but not the easiest hole.
There's still a lot that can go wrong on this hole.
That's a great birdie by Wads, making
Yeah.
some moves again. And what we mean by Wads is Kyle Moriarty. If you
Yeah,
ever
his
pick that
nickname
up.
locally is Wads.
And great
That's a good birdie by Shane, too.
It was.
Yep.
It was. All right, moving on to one of the harder holes on the course, hole 9. It's just a weird line.
It is. It's really quirky.
And there's OB
I
at the
know.
end of it. You can see Wads hit it, and he was asking, did it go OB? There's just...
This is a very tricky, quirky hole as
You
well.
can't see it at
no,
all.
you can't see the basket. You can hardly see the out-of-bounds
how you guys
lines.
play?
It's really just a flip-up hyzer shot that you kind of want it to penetrate forward a little bit, but it's such a tight, narrow tunnel of OB towards the end of the green that this hole is just very dangerous.
And you can see we have different shot shapes to
Yeah.
try to get there. I mean,
Yeah.
he threw a
Little
soft
higher.
tactic flick, so it's. I
Right.
mean, there's so many different
Once
ways
we get up to
approach
the
it.
green and you guys see what we're kind of talking about, it's like a funnel of an out of bounds
looks
around the
good.
green, and to even get yourself a putt on this hole is really, really hard.
Oh, I think that's it.
That was a great shot.
Yeah, that was really nice.
And Marky exclaiming how upset he would have been if that was OB,
that
but
was a great
that was
shot.
inbounds. I could see the golden phrase on the
Mm-hmm.
ground, kind of where his disc landed.
That was some good catch cam by
Yeah.
Quinton earlier.
And this is a tough one to even give a bid if you're kind of at this 60, 70, 80 foot range, because there's just so much out of bounds, littered around this basket.
I feel like he's 100.
He probably
No.
is.
Let's
Oh!
go, dude!
Shane with a huge putt.
Wow.
And look at him cracking a smile, getting
Yeah.
some excitement back. He's only one stroke back of the leader on the
That
lead
was
card
a
here.
banger.
And that's the type of putt that will set you off, and set you on a little bit of a
gosh,
roll.
Yeah, definitely. See more on the skins match. No, and then putting the pressure on Watts because
Yeah.
he went OB.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
And
that's a huge swing there.
You can kind of see the red stakes there on the right side.
oh,
my
Mark, you
gosh.
can't buy a birdie now.
Marky.
Oh, that was a good bid, Mark.
I know. That was a great drive to put himself. I've never actually even seen anyone get themselves into position
beautiful.
to putt for birdie on this hole. That was a really good drive.
There's just no line.
Oh, and this hole just doesn't want any putts to stick. Everyone's getting big putted by Shane.
Hey, that happens sometimes.
I know.
That was a huge putt.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't want to see Wads walk away with the bogey there.
Yeah,
but
that's a tough one. I think
maybe even
was
double.
that a double? Yeah, because he was
it
putting for 3 from OB and then he missed the comebacker
Yeah.
there. Oh, that is just so tough.
Yeah. And then Marky just tapping out here. Pretty good front 9 there. Some damage we saw from a few of our top players, but we
Yeah.
also saw some really good putts and some really big drives from our players.
Kind of like that one right there.
Yeah,
there were some
exactly.
great highlights in that front 9 there.
Yeah. So thank you for staying tuned for the front 9. We got a whole back 9 left. And before we leave, let's just take a look at the chase card. Dylan making a huge push.
Dylan
at
is
minus
12 down, yeah. And I think our leader on the lead card was at 10.
10 or 11.
Yeah.
So it's going to be close to finish here.
Yeah.
And our names are in there as well.
Oh,
so
yeah, we
to
got
play together.
we got
That was
Rivas
cool.
and Noah there at the bottom there.
That was pretty sweet. We got to play together.
Yep, that was a fun round.
And yeah, we really hope you guys enjoy this footage and make sure to come back for round 2.
Yeah, hope to see you guys in the round 2 commentary. And there's actually a glimpse of me right there. What up, Puck Squad? And Rivas, there
Yeah,
you are.
Looking at the 978 TV monitors.
Yep, because they have the live scoring there.
It's really cool to see them there.
It
having
is.
The live
It's awesome.
scoring.
Yeah, it's awesome when they bring that whole truck there with their whole setup. It's really cool.
I love it. It just brings a whole different atmosphere.
Right.
And that was our
This-
SPO winner.
Yeah, spraying the champagne there at the end. But
So-
this whole tournament central was really well done. We had the podium. We had, you had the
was.
microphone. Everything was going really seamless here.
I was having a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And
you were.
obviously, thank you, Sunstein, for helping us out and adding cash for this event.
Yep.
We couldn't have done it without you. Thanks again, everyone. We'll catch you on the back nine.
Yep, big thanks to the Greatest Media team for putting this together, and it has been a blast doing the commentary for it. I can't wait for the back nine. Hope to see you guys there.
That was really smooth.
Yeah.
Like,